Arun from Swasti today. Arun is a pioneer in some of the services they provide in the sector, and they have created a unique space for themselves. And this is one of the best entrepreneurial stories that we have come across in the last so many years. At a time when you're comfortable in your corporate jobs, the team at Swasti, they took the plunge and they started Swasti and taking financial services to some of the remotest people, some of the remotest locations, some of the people who were not part of the mainstream economy, and they have done some great job in that space. There are a lot of great things about these stories, and I invite Arun to share some of the stories, the growth, how this whole organization came up, and how you transformed it into a big organization that it is today and growing even further in the next few years. We know that. So, how have you actually managed to not only grow but attract and retain the best of talent, and through people, how have you achieved what has happened to the business today?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Uh, my partner Narayanan and I, we started Swasti, uh, in 2009 as a not-for-profit company.
Yeah.
And in 2010, we converted into a for-profit non-banking finance company. The goal was to build a large, scalable, and sustainable, uh, uh, you know, uh, financial services company that will serve low-income community in India. And we started our operations in the city of Mumbai, where traditionally microfinance was not expected to be a successful model. We made it successful in Mumbai. We were pioneers in making it work in the city of Mumbai, and
Mm.
from there we have expanded to many other both urban and rural areas. Today, we have operations across 7 states in Maharashtra, MP, UP, Gujarat, and recently we started in Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, and Tamil Nadu, and with a team of around 1100 employees across 90 branches and an AUM of close to 450 crores. So this has kind of been our journey till date. So right from the beginning, for us, the way we envisioned uh, the business in our segment was a very close integration between technology and operations.
Right. Yeah.
So for us, the key was, how can you take a traditional segment and a traditional business and transform it through technology to be a
Yeah.
very symbiotic uh, uh, business model that will use technology very innovatively and weave it into operations. It's kind of a tech plus ops model.
Right.
So that's what we have done over the years. So we have built a platform called Swastech,
Wow.
which we use for every aspect of our business. It's the core technology platform that we use. Everybody in the company uses Swastech in every single activity that they do. All our customer engagement is through this platform. All the customer onboarding, the loan approval, the loan process itself, the loan disbursement, and subsequently the collection, and all the information management, the reporting, as well as everything that we do in analytics.
Yeah.
All of that happens through the platform that we have created. It basically makes the business highly efficient. It also allows us a level of significant control over business operations, because fraud and non-compliance are big risks in this business. So Swastek allows us to address fraud risk, and gives us a high level of control over operations using technology.
Right.
And on top of it, it gives us a tremendous amount of information on which we run analytics that helps us, make much better lending decisions. So our dream is to, develop this further, expand our operations across more and more districts and states, add more and more customers into the company, and also offer a wide variety of products and services to them. Today we are in microfinance lending, we have MSME lending, and we offer some other products and services to customers like a medical insurance, products like mobile phones, etc. And so we want to expand both our breadth and length of our scope of business with the segment that we operate in, which is largely low income households in India. So that's broadly been our story and our sort of vision as we go forward. And in terms of people, what we have, right from the beginning, this is something we've been very particular about. That Swasti must be what we call a people first organization. So our values is what we call as people first. And what that means is that we keep our people at the front and center of all decisions that we make in the company. And what that really aims to do is to sort of make sure that every person who's there in this company, who comes to this company, they all come with certain expectations. Our goal is to ensure that everybody's expectations and their experience in the company are completely aligned.
Right.
So we have taken this up as our kind of goal. That's why we call it people first.
Yeah.
And so so we build everything out with this philosophy that if there is an individual in this company, that person has some expectations, and that person has some experience. How do we make sure that these two things are completely aligned? That doesn't necessarily mean that everyone's expectations will be met all the time. It
Right.
doesn't. But what it means is that we operate with a degree of honesty and transparency, right? And we engage with each and every individual to create an alignment between experience and expectation. So
Right.
that means there is always a bit of a give and take, but you can allow for that to happen if you have honesty, transparency, communication, engagement built into everything that we do, and also to prioritize every individual, no matter who it is. It could be an entry level customer relationship manager, a class 12 pass, or it could be all the way up to business heads or the senior
Mm.
most people in the company. So this is the philosophy that we work with from people perspective.
Yeah, I think it's a great story, and there is a lot of noble cause involved as well. From the point of view of the kind of customers that you have, and the financial enablement that you have done, brought to the people in the states that you operate in. I'm sure the story will grow further, and of course, it happened over the last 10 years, but just help us understand, the nuances of it. There are a lot of startups which have come and gone. you know, there are lots of tech-based or non-tech-based organizations that have come and gone in the last 15 years. There are few who survive, and even fewer which actually do well and start becoming profitable and bring a lot of value to the customers they are serving. And this has been through people. So you you created teams, you enable teams. So tell us about how have you managed the expectations of people in while growing. How did you create this team from ground zero? It was almost zero to now 1100, and I'm sure it will go further. Also from a tech point of view, enablement to almost from there was not where there was nothing. How do you do that, and how did you manage the leadership expectations that happen for such growth businesses?
Yeah, so we try to work with a from a people perspective. We try to work with a very simple philosophy,
Yeah.
which is that everyone is important, and our engagement across the company must reach every single individual. So which means that all the policies that we have, all the processes that we run, which are people related aspects of the company, we kind of really think about, it's about institutionalizing what I'm saying, which is
Yeah.
how do you put people first, So this is a question that we keep asking ourselves in everything that we do.
Yeah.
And so which means that it's about understanding, okay, when a person comes into the company, how have we kind of engaged with that person in the first day? What have we done in the first, say, 7 to 10 days? How have the first 30 to 60 to 90 days gone? And then thereafter, right, as they complete a year, how are they doing? How is our engagement with that person in terms of sort of, does this individual understand what the company expects from that person, and does he or she understand what he or she can expect from the company? So constantly we're having, you know uh, any process that we build, we are thinking about these elements,
Mm.
and so we design the process that will answer these questions. For instance, we have what we call a buddy program, and a 30, 60, 90 engagement. So we kind of handhold people up to 90 days very closely,
Wow.
attaching them to some
It's
seniors in the company who are kind of
mentoring.
yeah, helping them, mentoring them, and with the active engagement of HR. Similarly, we've launched a coaching program this year, where
Wow.
we've taken about overall out of 130 odd people in the company, and we said that, look, these are people who we want to give a much deeper support in their day-to-day managerial challenges, in helping them meet those. And both, it covers a wide breadth of their kind of day-to-day work life, and also some of them use it for handling some personal challenges that they may be facing. And this program is run by a very competent coaching professional.
Right.
And so these are two examples. So again, I think the key here is that how much emphasis and importance you place to everyone in the company, and how do you make sure that you kind of reach out to and engage with, and listen to and respond to everybody. So and in this context, we have found the Great Place to Work as a framework in the way they kind of assess companies, and in respect of people related policies, a very good
That's right.
kind of tool. And it forces you to kind of open yourself up to feedback as an
True.
organization, right? And
Yeah.
so we like that, right? Everybody
Mm.
in the company has a vote on how we are doing in that sense through that framework.
Right.
So we've kind of used all of that, and I think at this point we are looking to explode in terms of growth, because we believe that we've worked very well on the operating model. Our technology is very evolved, and the interplay of operations and technology in the company is at a place where we feel very comfortable scaling it. And so we are going to do that. And as we do this, we need to take on and do an even better job at engaging with the people that we have and the people that we will get. So we feel confident that we are at that point where we
Right.
can do that. Yeah.
Right. I think that's wonderful. I think you mentioned that Great Place to Work provides an excellent framework in the sense that it makes you think in a certain way on creating and building practices for people. It's absolutely, and that reference has helped in visualizing what practices, etc., we'll create. Now, from a growth, again, you said that it is going to get on even a faster pace of growth, and as we go forward, there are a lot of things that are going to come in, and then technologically, operationally, we are ready. So, from the point of view of the new talent which is coming in the industry, and I often hear financial services and fintech companies saying that, how do we retain and attract this talent? And I think your performance on retention and attraction, despite being in a sector which may not appear so jazzy, from outside to newcomers, has been pretty good. So, and because we know that the rate of attrition is far better than many of the other peers that you have in the industry, and similarly, people who kind of join Swasti, etc. So, in terms of attracting the newcomers, that are now coming into the workforce, and also people who are, let's say, Gen Y or something like that. But what has been your experience? How have you and Narayan uh, attracted and developed this talent despite not being so jazzy? Because a lot of times people say, "Oh, despite the best salary, we are not able to attract." And there must be some reason, right? And why are we able to do it better than others? Is an experience I'm sure people will be interested in listening to.
Yeah, so we take a very hard look at the people we have, and the positions that we need to fill to start with, right?
Right.
And so we are very conscious about seeing how we can fill as many positions that we have with
Yeah.
as many of the people that we have in the company. So we are constantly having conversations around this. Can we get a good number of our own people to significantly, if I may say so, like punch above their weight,
Right. Yeah.
which is a
That's the
very
point.
exciting opportunity for them.
Yeah.
And then it forces us to think about the skill sets that are required also at every position, and really ask ourselves the question, why can't someone with apparently lesser skill sets fill that kind of
Yeah.
the sort of so-called higher skill set position. And we try to use technology to somehow bridge that gap also. So for instance, we build better dashboards for them, we give them
Right.
better training, right? And so we think that, look, how do we make that job easier so that someone with perhaps a lesser skill set can really do
Can
it
also.
effectively. So in
Yeah.
a way, it also makes our business stronger. Now, then obviously, at the pace at which we are growing, we need to get a lot more people from outside as well, and which we do. And there again, I think what helps us is that having a complete clarity on career paths that we offer.
Right.
And so we really think about everyone who comes into the company, they're coming at a particular level, and then where do we think we can be, this person can be in the next 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. So we are constantly trying to think about that, and we at the very outset have a conversation with every individual that we talk to, who we want to attract into the company on these lines, so that we give them a fairly sort of, we really talk about where they think they could be in the next say 1, 3, or 5 years, and where they want to be, and then where we can sort of fit them. And we try to do this very transparently with everyone. And so I think it's a combination of these two things that helps us. So again, it all boils down to really thinking about every individual, what skills, capabilities they come with, and what do you need for running every single position in the company, and how you can marry these two with a combination of training, mentoring, coaching, technology, and so on. Yeah.
I think this is a beautiful insight. So, I think sometimes management and leadership is very simple. We tend to overcomplicate things. But what I heard you saying is, I'll try to summarize that. I think there are two or three important things. One, let people punch above their weight. So, challenge them with higher and higher roles, maybe above their current skill or capability. Second thing I think which I heard was provide them right tools and techniques, which is enabling through the technology,
Yeah.
and give them those tools and techniques so that they can perform their jobs better. And third is skill them and provide
Yes.
opportunities to skill. It's such a simple thing to do, and sometimes we complicate this whole thing too much.
Right.
So yeah, I think I completely get it, and I'm sure the audience would have taken this insight as well. That it's just about those three things: about challenge people to do something which is not immediately reachable, provide them enablement, the tools and techniques and technology, and finally just provide opportunities to train and learn. So I think
Right.
this is an excellent insight. And of course, through your people first philosophy, which is more about fairness and transparency and making
Yeah.
sure that things are very honest and transparent to people. So I think this is wonderful. I think this is why I love the story so much,
Yeah.
that it's despite being in not so jazzy industry, it is so simple, and it is something which can easily be practiced. Uh, right. So now, there are lots of So there are middle level managers, there are leaders in this industry, and even in general in financial services and fintech industry, uh, who tend to have large teams. They have to manage large teams. Then there is a lot of talent which is coming in this sector, and more talent I'm seeing has to be more technologically enabled as well. So they need to have technological skills as well, in addition to these skills which were classically required in financial services. So overall, that the talent which is coming in and the people who are managing this talent uh, is going through. So there is a little bit of a transition time, right? So this is the transition phase. In the next 3 to 5 years, the face of the industry is going to change quite a bit. So on two parts: one on the talent part, and the other on the people who manage, managers, leaders, even senior leaders, mid-level managers. What is your advice to these people? What should they do in terms of becoming more and more uh, effective in running the work that they're doing? Whether it's managers or leaders on one hand, and on the other hand, the talent itself. What would be your advice to people in general in the whole industry?
Yeah. So, so we are going through, the industry itself is going through a tremendous transformation. I think the pandemic has significantly accelerated adoption of technology in every segment of population, because people have been forced to do it.
Correct.
A lot more people have worked from home, and they have adopted methods to work from home,
Like me.
and
But
figured
yeah.
out ways for engagement, communication, and work remotely. So, which is and even if you look at our customer segment, a lot of them desperately have taken and made investments in things like smartphones, just to help their children attend virtual school, and for so many other day-to-day stuff that were just taken for granted before the pandemic.
Yeah.
They all had to make these changes. So this is very fundamental, game-changing transition. Everyone needs to be aware of the pace at which these changes are happening, and otherwise they run the risk of becoming irrelevant. So really, everyone needs to introspect about what is their role, how are they going about working, and what has changed in the last 18 to 24 months, and are they keeping pace with that change? Just at a very fundamental level, I think everyone needs to introspect here. Otherwise, if the answer to these questions is not much, then then there's a problem. Because things have changed very dramatically and very significantly, and I hope everyone acknowledges that, and sort of keeps pace with those changes. Now,
Right.
which means what? Which means much smarter ways to do whatever it was that you were doing now,
True.
and and really sort of innovate in that perspective, adopt, look at how things are changing, and sort of be open to change. So this is kind of what I would say. The status quo is completely gone.
Yeah.
Everything is totally topsy turvy, and people need to first of all acknowledge this, and don't imagine that things are going to go back to the way they were. It's not. So fundamentally, you have to ask yourself these sort of very basic questions about what has changed, and how am I doing my work, and how that has changed, and how it is going to change.
Correct.
I think this is very important. In our own business, so many things have changed so fast, and whoever stays ahead of that curve will survive, and
So
whoever cannot, and whoever thinks and imagines that we can continue to do things the way we were doing,
yeah.
will just fall by the side. So
Yep.
really, I think this is a very significant point of inflection, and everyone needs to reflect.
Yeah. Survival of the fittest is more visible today than any time in the past. you know, and you know what? I was in a session yesterday with and this was a session on change agility. So when before starting the session, I actually asked how many of you think we have to change our skills or learn something new significantly, and everybody said yes. I asked how many of us have learned a new skill in the last 3 months.
Yeah.
There's hardly any hand which raised. So there's a point, and I think the point that you make, it is your own responsibility. So
Yes.
whether you are a mid-level leader or a manager, or you are a new talent coming into the workforce, ultimately it's your own responsibility to see which skills, which technology is pertinent to me,
Yes.
in terms of driving a right profession and vocation that can help me sustain myself. I think that's a very, very important thing,
Yeah.
and therefore also brings the point that it will be more of a self-determined workforce, which is going to emerge in the future, right? People who are
Look,
more
I think that there's two parts to it.
yeah,
The companies also have to go through the same kind of existential introspection, I would say.
same, absolutely
Like, I
same.
have to think about what everyone in my company is doing. How are they doing this
Yeah,
same work that they were doing a year
2 years.
back or 2 years back, and how we need to change that, right? I have to
Yeah.
think for everybody, which means the company Swasti has to think about
It's
this
something
for
like that.
everybody. Every
Yeah,
day we have to think about how did we do this last month, and this month how can we do this better, right? It is a company's responsibility equally. We see these changes which are very sort of transformational, and we are constantly discussing every month about what we did last month and how we can do something better this month, right? But at the same time, the onus is also on the individual,
right.
and every single individual, because they need to do the same thing. They have to think about, like, how are we working, and how I can improve the way I did things last month. This month I have to do them better than the way I did them last month, more efficiently, more innovatively, smartly, use technology. How can I use information better, and so on and so forth. So I think, this is definitely at both levels, and
Correct.
every individual introspecting and demanding is what I would say, right? You have to go to your supervisor and say, look, I think I want to do this way, and so please give me the tools to do that, right?
To do that.
It could be a report, or it could be a different dashboard, or it could be some other feature in some aspect of the technology or process, or the way we work. And so that ground up innovation also is required. Otherwise, both the company and the people will become irrelevant.
Correct,
So
correct.
this is
Evolution is
something we
applicable
need
to
to.
all. Yeah. Evolution is applicable both at the organization and the individual level, yes. And the faster pace of evolution that therefore. Right. I think yeah. So uh, we are almost towards the end of time, but any insights that you want to share with the boardrooms? And I'm sure you would have a lot of insight there, because almost growing a business from zero in 10 years is a huge, huge task. And it's an immense task to have a team of more than 1,000 people and growing to much bigger. So any advice to the boardrooms in your business or any other businesses that may be beneficial to people?
Uh, Look, honestly, I can speak for ourselves,
Yes,
and so generally, as we see financial services industry, I think uh, the real winners will be those who marry technology and operations. It's an interplay of tech plus ops is what will survive the long term, particularly in financial services, particularly in lending. And I think innovative ways of introducing and working with technology, and marrying that with people and with processes is I think what will be the big game changer. As opposed to pure technology based businesses, the tech plus ops will win this battle. And this is what I believe. And I mean, you take examples of so many other businesses that have
any
been very disruptive. Whether you take something like, say, Uber, or as an example there, of it's the very people and the tech interplay.
correct,
Or you take some of these, for instance, say someone like say Zomato or Swiggy. These are kind of a people plus technology
tech. Hmm.
business. I think particularly financial services and lending is also in that category. We are going to need very innovative and high tech, uh, uh, backbones marrying people and processes. And I think that that's really what we keep thinking about and working towards in Swasti. And sort of this is what we have built out, and this is what we will kind of scale.
Yeah.
So constantly, we think that that's the winning combination in consumer finance, financial services, fintech space for the long term.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
Yeah, you summarized it pretty well. Technology and operations. Whoever has mastered this is the master of the market. I mean, Amazon is a great example. Great
yeah,
technology.
Amazon too.
Great
Yeah,
operations.
yeah,
Yeah. Great. I think thank you so much, Arun, for all the insights, and I'm sure there are a lot of great takeaways.
yeah.
And many best wishes to you, Narayan, and the Swasti team. And I'm sure we will see more and more of you in the future. I know you are also an expert at some of the great management and financial subjects. Maybe we'll find some opportunities to
Yeah.
have a conversation on those sometime in the future as well.
Yes, thank you, Lokesh. Thanks for this opportunity. It was really nice talking to you. And I'm sure we can find ways to do this more. And it's been really good engaging with you. And look forward to continuing this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Arun.
Yeah.
See you.
Mm.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Thank you. Bye.